If history showed us anything, it is that one man's hero is the other man's villain. And the hero/villain of this story is Babak Khorramdin. Babak Khorramdin was one of the main Persian leaders of the Khorramdinan, those of the joyous religion, which was a local freedom movement with zoro-astrian elements to it. They were fighting the Abbasid Caliphate. From the Persian perspective, he was obviously deemed the hero. A statue of him still stands today in current-day Armenia, in Babak city, at the Iranian border. On the opposite side, that of the Abbasid Caliphate, he was the villain, the troublemaker who started an armed insurrection against the establishment. His fight against the Abbasids would last some 20 years, and would surprisingly inflict many defeats to the empire. Babak started to foment insurrections around 816. At first, Mamun, caliph at the time and son of the great Harun Al-Rashid, paid little attention to Babak's uprisings, and this for a couple of reasons. First, because of the difficulty of interfering from distant Khorasan into the mountainous region where they were located. And secondly, Al-Mamun was preoccupied with important internal affairs. These conditions paved the way for Babak and his supporters. In 819, Al-Mamun sent General Yahya ibn Mu'ad to fight against Babak. 2 years later, Babak overcame the forces of Isa ibn Muhammad ibn Abi Khalid. And the next 10 years would be no different. There were repeated attempts to subdue Babak, but not a single one worked. In 833, on his deathbed, Al-Mamun writes his last words, in which he asks his successor to launch expeditions against the Khurramiyya, led by a commander who is resolute, fierce, and firm, and support him with finance, arms, and troops, both cavalry and infantry. In that same year, a great number of the people from Hamadan and Isfahan embraced the Khurrami faith. Mutassim, the new caliph, accordingly sent troops against them, and after some years of fighting and exchanging intelligence on each other's positions, General Al-Afshin manages to surround him and get him in his fort in Al-Baz. He brought him back to Samarra, where the caliph lived. Mutassim had him paraded in the city on an elephant, and to make an example of him, he had both his hands and feet cut off in public. His chest was split open. The head was sent to Khorasan, and the trunk was gibbetted and hung in the streets of Samarra.